So how did I get here? Yeah, that's right. Life happened. I don't know if this is a sign or not, but this is the second time I've filmed this. I'm not super good at this YouTube thing yet. I filmed an entire 40 minutes of raw footage of me talking to the camera with no audio. What? I forgot to turn this microphone on the last time I filmed this, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on these to make sure that they don't die because I'll be devastated. So how did I get here? Where's the tequila? It won't come off. And without this, it's a girl. I'm pregnant. Look at my belly. We're having another baby. It's gonna be a big sister. Another girl. Yes. Yes. You're gonna see chickens. Oh. Yeah, that's right. Life happened. And here we are. How do I start this? I guess we'll just go back to the beginning. So, growing up, I have always been extremely, extremely thin. My entire life, food was never really a reward. It was more of like survival. I ate the things that I ate to sustain life, not for enjoyment or pleasure. I'm not sure if that stemmed from a traumatic childhood or if I was just unfortunate enough to grow up in a Southern family that didn't know how to cook. Not only has food never really been something that I craved, at least not in a binge eating, debilitating, I can't get my mind off of it way. My body has always just been naturally thin to begin with, and I'm very grateful for that. I've been very blessed the majority of my life to just have good genes. I ended up moving in with my mom and my stepdad, and this was like a whole new relationship with food. My stepdad was super into MMA, working out, exercising, being fit. So naturally, a lot of the foods that I was introduced to and consuming were very, very protein heavy. Smell like beef. Healthier. A lot of just industry standard, what you would think of whenever you are thinking about healthy. Chicken, rice, and broccoli. Yeah, those were the meals that I had pretty much the entire time I was in high school. Just very, what people think of when they think about eating healthy. The boring, the bland. Now, that's not saying that he didn't know how to enjoy a sweet treat or two. Maybe more than occasionally. So that's not to say like I'm completely ignorant to what ice cream and cake is. I definitely had my fair share of sweets. I just have never been much of a sweet tooth to begin with, so it was really easy for me not to go overboard. But salty food, that is where my problems lie. My true relationship with food didn't really start until I went to college. And I was left to all my own vices, my own decision making, what was cheap, what I wanted. I didn't have any rules for food anymore. I didn't have anyone else's lifestyle determining what went into my body anymore. It was up to me. It was a fresh start, a new start. I got to choose what to eat. And like any other college student, you usually, generally, go to college broke. So instead of eating bland old people food that didn't know how to cook, or bland healthy foods, general industry healthy foods. I was shopping off the dollar menus. I was eating fast food. Now, I wasn't binging this. I was eating foods that I enjoyed, that were easy to access and were cheap. I'm sure most of you have heard about the Freshman 15. I never gained the Freshman 15. I didn't even start gaining weight really until my sophomore year of college. I have been about between 115 and 118 pounds pretty much since I hit puberty, which I realize is very, very tiny. I look like a walking, talking skeleton. I look like I could have been casted for Coraline. I was thin. I was scary. But then I gained some weight, and I weighed somewhere between 130 to 135 pounds all the way up until even after college. I loved the weight gain that I got. I didn't feel so skinny and scrawny and just like breakable. I gained a lot to my figure. I just looked like normal. I just felt like my body filled out in all the right places. I just liked having a little bit more meat to me and not just being a pole of a person. But then I got pregnant. Now, the first pregnancy wasn't that bad as far as weight gain went. I was able to have our first daughter and almost immediately bounce right back. And I realize now how incredibly privileged that is to have a body so kind to me, to then have a baby and go almost right back to normal. We all know once you start getting a big head about something, it usually hits the fan. And it did. So about 5, maybe even 6 months after I gave birth to our first child, I got pregnant with our second. We knew we only wanted 2 kids. I was like, meh, it's fine. I had one already. And my body went right back to normal. No problem. I wanted to make sure I had the pregnancies back to back so that we got all of the baby stuff out of the way at the same time. The girls grew up together and everybody was happy. We had 2 kids, got my tubes tied, done. Well, I give birth to an almost 11-pound baby. Big girl, big, heavy girl. I gained so much weight during that pregnancy. I am unrecognizable. I look like a balloon, a blimp. I am huge. Well, I have her. I don't bounce back. In fact, I hold on. That weight is sticky. It's sticky. It's sticking to me. I get my tubes removed, and almost immediately after, my body has never been the same since. Our youngest is about to turn 4, July of 2025. And I will say, even though my body has been really kind to me and I took a lot for granted, I will say that I'm still very privileged to not hold, I don't hold a lot of weight. I know there are women that have hundreds of pounds to lose, and I am sitting somewhere between 50 and 60 pounds. That's it. So why have I put it off for so long? Well, one, I've never had to work out a day in my life. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it. I just am a little lost on the entire process. I also didn't realize how incredibly hard it is to lose it when you finally realize you have to. I also didn't struggle with food. So most of the people that I listen to about weight loss, all of them have issues with food, and that wasn't an issue for me. So I was struggling to figure out why I was holding so much weight and I didn't eat like them. I didn't have an issue cutting out certain things. It wasn't hard for me to do that. So why was I still fat? That was until 2024 rolled around. I decided to change my life completely. I also have been very blessed not to struggle with any mental ailments, disabilities, like a lot of my friends, family, people I know, people I see on the internet. I never really struggled with depression, anxiety, things like that until after my second. I definitely went into one of the biggest depressions of my life, and I did not come out of it until over 3 years after I gave birth to our second child. I never felt like myself and still don't, but I definitely feel better. I feel like now I'm able to process stuff. I'm able to think, okay, what do I need to do to get back to being myself and get out of this funk? I'd say mid to late 2024, I definitely started to see parts of myself kind of peeking through a little bit, peeking through the depression, and I decided to go to the gym. I got a membership. I started going to Planet Fitness, and I was just going to do basic stuff for now to try to figure out the gym, figure out fitness, figure out how to get this weight off, and lost about 35 pounds. I quickly realized that the routine of going to the gym just wasn't sustainable for me. Not only was I going inconsistently because the only time as a stay-at-home mom that I had to go alone was 5:30 in the morning. We just we don't have the type of village that is able to watch the girls every day for an hour or so that I can go work out and focus on myself. People in our lives have lives, or they work. We just don't have someone that can do that. And with Josh's hours, it's really hard to plan to go to the gym, because I did debate on just doing it later in the day, but his job is so inconsistent about not only how long he's out. He could get off at 2 o'clock some days. He could get off at 3, 4, 5. And then there are days he hasn't come home until 7, 8, 9. And the locations that he's working at are even more unreliable. It was just hard to figure out a schedule until we finally talked and we invested in a walking pad. We were really specific on these specs and the things that we wanted for this walking pad so that I could at least, at a bare minimum, walk on this walking pad and get something done. Let's talk about this elephant in the room. Me. Big old Dumbo over there. So what are the goals? I currently weigh 186, 187 pounds, but believe it or not, this is not the most that I've weighed. Before I started going to the gym in 2024, I think the largest number I saw on the scale was 198 pounds. I weighed almost 200 pounds. And I think that number triggered me because I definitely believe that I had a little body dysmorphia, because when I looked at myself, I did not see 200 pounds. I thought I just had a little bit of bloat. I thought, oh, I look the same. Just a little rounded belly. No, girl, you are 200 pounds. What are you doing? I definitely cried over this. Who wouldn't? It is one thing to look at yourself in the mirror and say, man, I got really big. It is another thing to look at the number on the scale. It hurts your feelings. The scale is a bully. My goal weight is somewhere between 130, 135 pounds, maybe even a little above that. I'm not 100% sure. I really think the goal weight is more of what I look like than what the scale tells me I should be. I fear that 130 to 135 pounds may be too low for me because I am older now. I'm obviously not a college student anymore, so to try to weigh the same that I did in college seems a little bit unrealistic to me. But I don't know. I think this is kind of just a waiting game to see what my body ends up looking like as opposed to what I think the number should be. what else are we planning on doing with this? I mentioned the walking pad. Along with that, we do have a couple other small things. We have some yoga mats, a little bit of weights, and we do plan on building an at-home gym. We are currently working on that. It's not going to be anything crazy, of course, just a room that we put smaller equipment in to do cardio and maybe a little bit of strength training. We're not planning on doing anything absolutely crazy to the house to build this gym, just kind of the bare minimum necessities of what we need. But what is my plan to do with this equipment? What is the goal? One is to show up every single day. I noticed one thing about myself when I started going to the gym is I started making excuses. I said, okay, I'm going to go Monday through Friday, have the weekends for rest days. Just became like excuses after excuses simply because I didn't want to get up at 5:30 in the morning to go do that and then try to stay up all day to be a mom. It just was unrealistic for my lifestyle. Instead, I got the walking pad. I plan on doing a bare minimum of 10,000 steps per day, which I believe equals out to 5 miles, about 90 minutes at like 3.5, maybe 4 speed, I think. Roughly. So 10,000 steps per day just on the treadmill. It's not including steps that your regular movement. And then I think we're just sticking to cardio. Dude, I had a panic attack. My camera just died and I thought I lost all that footage and I was going to have to record again. Jeez, this video is going to be the death of me. So the focus is cardio. I'm going to stick with strictly cardio just for a while because I have like a little over 50 pounds to lose. And I just don't want to do strength training or any kind of muscle building on top of that right now because I think for my mental health, it would not be good. I do not want to be focused on the number on the scale constantly. And I already know that the self-control I don't have is going to be stepping on that scale. I don't want to see that scale go up or stay the same because my muscle mass is building a little bit. I'm a little more heavier because of my muscle and correlate that to not losing any fat. So I think just for me, it is healthier for me mentally to lose the fat first, maybe not all of it, but a good majority of it, and then start strength training or building up some more of that muscle. But initially, I just don't think it's a good idea for me to do both. So what am I eating? Before I decided to go on a calorie deficit, which is probably the plan that I'm going to go with, it just seems the more obtainable way to go about losing weight. I decided to track my maintenance calories for like a week. Just let's see what I am currently doing. What do I generally eat? What kinds of calories am I eating? And how many calories am I eating every single day? My maintenance calories per day for a week were somewhere between 14 and 1800, which is already a calorie deficit for many, many people. Most people should be for everyone, honestly. Like that's not, you're not eating. I was not eating until probably after 2 o'clock every single day. I had coffee, water, and maybe I would snack on something small. But until 2 o'clock, I just didn't eat. I ate all of my calories every single day after 2. And then I also noticed I had a hard time stopping what I was eating. I would literally eat an entire 4-course meal at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So, but then I sat back and I thought, if my maintenance calories are 14, 15, 1600, why am I struggling to lose the weight? If that truly is what I'm consuming every day, and that is a deficit for most people and should be, why am I still fat? And it came down to one simple thing. I did not move. My butt was Velcroed to the recliner. I just didn't move. And the only reason I knew this is because during the same week, I also got this cheapy little like fitness watch to track my steps. I could not believe how little I was moving. The reason wasn't because I was binging my favorite shows, even though I did do that on occasion. It was TikTok. It was social media in general. I became so obsessed with everyone else and everyone else's lives and everyone else's accomplishments that I just sat on my ass and watched everyone else do everything I wanted to do and cried about it to myself. Bitch, why? Why did you do that? So that is when I vowed at the end of 2024, I said, all right, I'm making a plan. We're going to change my life. Instead of watching everyone else live your dreams, do the things you want to do, look like you want to look, get off your phones. Stop having 24 hours a day of screen time. Get off your damn phone. Okay? I decided I was going to create more content than I consumed. Obviously, this is a habit that is going to take some time to get rid of. It is a hard one to break. Most Americans, most people know that. I want to share this journey with as many people as I can. Just kind of motivate people, like, just because you think it won't happen to you because it never has, doesn't mean it won't. I definitely got hit with a big wake-up call. What do I plan on doing with this information that I got from, like, tracking my calories? I'm probably going to keep my calories around the same. Just plan on making better choices with the calories that I'm putting in my body. Instead of eating snack cakes and chips and stuff like that, I'll eat, vegetables, fruit, the things that should be going into your body. I'm just going to make healthier choices as opposed to actually cutting my calories down, since I don't really consume that many to begin with. I just want to be a little more mindful about the kinds of calories that I'm consuming. How do I plan on keeping track of all of this? With my handy dandy fitness watch. I did get this a few weeks ago. I was not yet ready to commit to an Apple Watch, one, because I had heard a lot of bad reviews about Apple Watches, but I've also heard a lot of good ones. There is another brand that I have been looking into. I forget what it's called, but it's this one. So I don't know. I haven't done a ton of research on either of them. I know a lot of people use the Apple Watch. But I know a lot of other fitness influencers are gravitating towards this one. So I don't know. I'll have to kind of see how it goes. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out just the basic functions of this Amazon watch and kind of go from there. But yeah, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Right now, I'm just going to keep it basic. But yeah, so I am going to go ahead and insert my grocery clips, things that I picked up for the next 2 weeks to snack on, eat, dinners, stuff like that, to kind of go over food. Yeah, so let's go ahead and check that out. It is the Super Bowl, and I'm trying to rush, and I'm trying to film the snacks that I decided on for the next 2-ish weeks before I start eating them all, and then I don't have anything to show you. So I did grocery pickup this morning, and these are the snacks and dinners that I plan on making. Starting off strong. Snacks. Whoops. Obviously, fruits and vegetables, bananas, apples, oranges, avocados. Yeah, the whole 9 yards. Cheese. Roasted red pepper hummus. And pita bread. This one's a little weird, but I saw this recipe online and I was like, oh my god, yes, because I'm not much of a sweets girl, but man, can I put some potato chips away. So salty is my jam. So I got 2 bags of kale, and I saw where people were oiling and salting, seasoning these and air frying them, and they were like so crispy and like airy. And I was like, you know what? That sounds right up my alley. This may not be it, but I'm gonna try it. So, and if I like it, then why not? And mind you, a bag of kelp. Kelp?
My diet, Dr. Kelp?
What is this? What is this? It'll come to me. I just said it, didn't I? Oh my god, I gotta read it. Kale!
I lost my train of thought here. What I was trying to say is buying a bag of kale chips is far more expensive than just making it yourself.
Kale. A ton of cucumbers. I was gonna make some, I love cucumber salads, different versions of them. So I was gonna make something like one of these versions of cucumber salad. I did also get a bag of pretzel sticks that I will probably share with everyone.
And I forgot to mention pickles. My favorite 0-calorie snack.
I'm not much of a snacker, to be honest, so I try not to go overboard. And even looking at all this, I feel like I might have gone a little overboard for myself. Okay, but as for meals, let's get to it. I am not going to pull everything out of the fridge because I already put it away from this morning, and that would be absolutely crazy. Breakfast. I haven't made these yet. I probably will make those tonight. Maybe I'll film it. I don't know yet. But I'm going to go ahead and do these like strawberry overnight oats. I am notorious for not eating breakfast in the morning and then being starving. And instead of eating something before I work out, I just drink a coffee or an energy drink instead. Cannot be good for you. I also plan on making protein shakes. So I did get some frozen fruit. I got strawberries, blueberries, and I had some frozen bananas left over. So, and then of course I have my protein powder, which I know people are going to come for me in the comments over this, but this is the protein powder that I use because I can afford it. Premier Protein. I'm sure this has some nasty stuff in it. I have the chocolate and the vanilla one because it depends on what flavor, what smoothie, shake, whatever I'm making that day. So I have both. But anyways, roast me in the comments. Unless you're buying it for me, suck it. Give me options. I don't know what to do. I'm new at this. And then of course I do have eggs and, you know, like breakfasty stuff to make if I do decide to go that route. I got avocados for avocado toast. I have cottage cheese, like, you know, the basics if I wanted to, you know, switch it up a little bit. But I'm gonna be honest, mornings, I won't say I'm lazy, but when it comes to myself, mornings are more for my kids. I spend time with them, I get them ready for the day, we're just doing things. So once noon hits is generally when me time kicks in a little bit more. Lunches, I also put on here protein shakes because sometimes I'm in a rush.
I just realized I didn't actually tell you what I was eating for lunch. And that's because I generally eat leftovers. I also didn't tell you because I'm realizing I don't have a solid plan.
Dinners, here we go. So I have a chicken and cauliflower pot meal. I'm gonna have to look up what I meant by that. I will put a picture of it here. I'm sure all of these I got from TikTok or Pinterest. This is more like a dip, but it's really filling. Mississippi pot roast. Now, you can really do whatever you want with this. For myself anyways, I'm probably going to do it over like cauliflower rice. Maybe depending on like my starches and carbs for that week, I may do potatoes. I'm not really sure yet, but for everybody else, I will always make mashed potatoes and then like some green to go on the side. A burger bowl. I am obsessed with these. It's one of my favorites. They're really easy to make. They're super good. I make this like burger sauce that goes with it. It's delicious. So feta pasta. I'm sure everybody's heard about the viral TikTok feta pasta. Obviously, there's the basic version that's just the tomatoes, the oil, the cheese, and then you kind of do with it what you want as far as carbs or meat, or if you want to add more vegetables go. We kind of change it up every time. I do like it just the basic way if I'm like really lazy, but I like to try to add different vegetables and proteins in it. So I'm not really sure exactly what I'm going to do this time. Pizza. I try to have a pizza night, like an at-home pizza night, at least once every 2 weeks for the kids. So they can make their favorite basic pepperoni pizza. But it's easier for me, instead of going out and getting pizza, to just make it at home. One, it's more fun and it's an activity that the kids love to do. And two, I don't want to spend a fortune on multiple pizzas because I can't eat the ones that they want. I usually make my own, and I do some sort of like Mediterranean Greek style pizza. Chicken ranch bake. We actually made this already, but I think I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I found this video on TikTok by this creator, and it was really good. This one Josh was like, okay. But it is a green bean sheet pan meal. Yeah, this is another dinner idea. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only cook dinners Monday through Friday. Weekends are kind of like we go out. A lot of the times we have plans with family, so we usually eat out for something, or we go over to someone's house for a cookout, or they make dinner for all of us. So I try not to stress about the weekends, but cooking 5 days out of the week is already like, it takes a toll on your mind and you're thinking constantly. I mean, I got a whole spreadsheet of meals I'm trying to make. It's tedious. And then we do 2 leftover nights every 2 weeks. So that's 1 leftover night a week. For my main account, I am not going to cover a ton of my weight loss journey. I do have a separate account just for my weight loss journey right here. I am still going to do like vlogs and like little day in my life, things like that on my regular channel. I am glad that you guys stuck around. I am really, really excited to finally like stick to this and figure this out and get my body back. I'm definitely going to be a lot more grateful. I'm going to be more understanding of people on this journey. I don't know. I think this just made me look at things a lot differently and not be so egotistical about myself and my appearance at that. So, but I'm excited to go on this journey and finally lose the weight and just be myself again and just be happy. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I will see you guys next time.